What's poppin', all my guys, gals, and non-binary pals? It's your boys, the Incidental Nerd.
What's up?
I'm OG Hank 312 on all socials. We're back with another little catch-up episode. A lot went down this week. We had some wrestling, we had some Spidey, we had some pay-per-views. So we're gonna hit you with a quick little recap of the week. Nerd, what's going on, my brother? How you doing? How you feeling?
Doing well. Happy to be with you on yet another episode of the For the Pop podcast.
Episode 6.
Episode 6. We've made it. We've made it, brother.
We're on our way. The momentum is stopped. I think I'm proud of us that we're now putting out weekly content.
6 weeks in a row, dog.
Take
that, James Camione.
He blew up my speakers. No, I'm kidding.
Sorry, dog.
They used to bust our balls about like not producing content. I get it. No,
fair. It was fair. But we're back. We're reinvigorated under a new brand, and we're gonna keep calling it a new brand for another 11 months.
We can keep going with a new umbrella. You know what I'm saying? If we're not giving you catch-ups, we're doing some interviews. And if we're not doing interviews, we're doing drafts, which so far have been marred by controversy each time. But you know what? I think that's half the fun.
And Incidental Nerd is providing you with the TikTok videos that you're dying for. And I actually was thinking earlier today, we're headed to Days of the Dead this weekend.
Yeah, that's gonna be big.
Fingers crossed that we're able to do a couple of interviews that we'll be able to share on our socials. But this is something that we've done, I don't know, it's either been 4 or 5 times. We've talked about it before. Yeah. But I have the old recordings. I have the recordings from our prior interviews. Nice. So I'm gonna be chopping those up into TikTok sized pieces. So people can consume them over there.
Nice. I like it. It's fancy.
Yeah, indeed.
Very cool, my dude. But yeah, man, it was a fun week. It feels like it's been a long week.
And it's only Thursday.
I know. Last weekend was a wrestling filled weekend. I got to do some stuff with GCW. That's it's always fun to get that you up text. It's not a really you up text.
Good old Brett Lauderdale.
Yeah, and any of our OGs will know what that you up is about. That's an old segment from our old WTAR days. I don't know, man.
Well, we're older and wiser, and now we're recording at 7:00 in the evening.
Yeah,
and
who do we think we were recording, like at 10 o'clock? What time did we start? 9, 10?
Bro, we used to, it was 8-ish, then it was 9-ish.
10-ish, then it become ish.
When you guys gonna record? Ish.
but yeah, like I was saying, got a chance to just, I'd like to say help out, but all I really did was just give a ride. That's
Listen, man, those guys need rides, man. That's the grind. Like if they're flying in, they need a pickup, and they need to be taken where they're gonna go.
Yeah, it's but yeah, I got to pick up Ninja Mac. If you're familiar with him, he's one of the newer over the last year kings of the flippy shit. That dude is very
and a GCW mainstay. Yeah.
As Brett likes to call him, Ninja Fuck Mac. I'm not sure what that's the name behind that is, but why not, right? I know Kevin Gill announces him as Ninja Fuck Mac as well on the commentary.
Because when you get in the ring with him, you're gonna get fucked up.
Got him. But yeah, real nice dude. He's from Houston. He now resides in Houston. He's now making his living through wrestling, which is always really amazing. Cool to hear.
Yeah.
Just to give you a little insight on their life. He got into my car and just the pleasantries. How you doing? How you feeling? What you been up to? He's telling me how he's banged up. He had a hell of a banger the night before. I don't remember where exactly. and how he's just kind of just still feeling it from the night before, but he's got to scramble, which he didn't know what they were going to do. And he's like, I don't even know who's in the scramble today or what we got going on. Okay. He did say that he does not do death matches. I was like, okay, good for you. I'm like, a scramble king, right up there. I feel like there's a lot of scramble kings, right?
Yeah, but I mean, like, the one that they did here in Chicago was my first introduction to him. The one that they did Labor Day weekend, right around all in, and
Second City
all
Summit this
out.
year?
Pardon me?
Second City Summit this year?
The Second City Summit, yes.
Yeah.
That was my introduction to him. I hadn't seen him perform before, but damn, like, yeah, he pulled off some crazy stuff.
Yeah, he's like I said, very very athletic, flippy. And I asked him, I was like, I was doing like an unofficial interview, right? Because I was just like, I can bring this back to not like I was like, so sir, what is it's just conversation, but making sure to take a mental notes so I can come back and share the experience.
Right.
I asked him, I was like, so what was his athletic background? Because he has to have some kind of athletic background. I thought maybe in gymnastics, because he is incredibly quote unquote flippy. He's very acrobatic.
Oh, absolutely.
So he kind of left. He's like just amateur wrestling. He was doing just amateur wrestling in high school.
Wow.
But I forget exactly how I said, but he was obviously doing the wrestling thing. Eventually, he just athletic. He's like, hey, let me try doing backflips. He ended up doing them. He impressed a friend who knew somebody that knew somebody. Long story short, long journey short, right?
Right.
Got him into Cirque du Soleil. Yeah.
No kidding.
He used to he said he used to perform in the circus. He did some Cirque du Soleil. And through that, somebody saw him and was like, you'd make a pretty good wrestler with this stuff you can do. He tried it, he loved it, and no looking back. I know he's heading to Japan soon.
Wow.
Maybe not necessarily not New Japan, not necessarily, but I mean, there's obviously a bunch of other companies out there.
Absolutely,
and,
yeah.
He's going to do his first tour of Japan, which he's super excited for.
And that's a huge like touchstone in a wrestler's career.
Absolutely.
Certainly in the independent scene. That's awesome. I mean, I wonder because WWE currently has a talent that has a Cirque du Soleil background.
Oh, Reggie, yeah, Reginald.
Yeah.
That didn't even cross my mind. You're right.
Yeah. I mean, definitely physically, those performers do some really amazing things. So
yeah, no doubt.
It's kind of an untapped resource.
Yeah.
But that's pretty cool.
Yeah, what I was recently thinking, I guess he kind of got me thinking, like, people compare AEW and WWE. I like to compare them to NXT, right? It's kind of funny, AEW. I don't know how to say it without sound like throwing shade, right? Because it's such a controversy. Oh, you hate AEW. I don't hate AEW, but like they have their homegrown talents are people who have grinded the indie scene for a long time,
right?
So I think for fans like ourselves, we've heard of 99.9% of these guys, if not 100% of them,
Yeah. To be perfectly honest, of who are their four pillars? Or pillows, as JR likes to say.
Darby,
MJF, Darby, Jungle Boy.
Yep.
And who's their fourth pillar?
Sammy Guevara, right?
Okay, Sammy Guevara. Of those four,
yeah,
the only one I didn't know of, like I hadn't seen a match of, was Jungle Boy.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, we're lucky being from Chicago, and the wrestling scene here. This city loves its wrestling.
Absolutely.
There's deep roots going way back, and there are a lot of outlets for independent wrestlers here in the city. There's AAW, Freelance Underground. There's what is CZW. There's all over, there's and not far away either. We have like Black Label Pro and those others. So we're very lucky.
Absolutely.
That we have a lot of this talent that has come through. So I mean, and we were fortunate going to AAW during what I would say was like
Their golden era.
The golden era, yeah, for real, with Chris Hero and Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. I mean, every month that the shows, Keith Lee, Moose, like it was just a who's who.
I mean, literally, if you look back at it right now, everyone who's on TV was at AAW at some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? So
yeah, 100% for sure.
But the point I was gonna make about that, it was you know, and that's cool. I'm not taking credit away from them, saying that, you know, their quote unquote homegrown talents is, you know, indie stars. Well, and that's where, you know, they have to get them from a certain pool, right?
Yeah, they had to start somewhere. It's
Yeah,
not like they just all of a sudden got a job in wrestling.
Right.
Well, or were in some sort of what do you call it, performance center or something, like,
well,
you know, like.
And that's what I was kind of going to say, where WWE is actually, I don't know if you're watching NXT 2.0, but they're actually making stars. These guys aren't, most of them aren't, you know, grinding in the indies. These are former collegiate athletes, other type of athletes in different sports or different avenues of entertainment and sports. They're really making their own household their names.
Yeah, I mean, they still have I'm not gonna, I almost used the word residue, but that's kind of a negative connotation. They still have some of the remnants of the original NXT, in like Tommaso Ciampa, oh gosh, what's her name now, the toxic toxic
Rose?
attraction,
Mandy Rose?
Not Mandy Rose, because she was really, I mean, they developed her.
Are you talking about from the indie scene? Priscilla
yes.
Kelly? Gigi
yes.
Dolan?
Yes,
Okay.
that's who I was talking about.
Right.
You know, and I mean, oh gosh, what's her name? Cora Jade.
Cora Jade.
That's our you know, we're familiar with her from Chicago. So like she was grinding on the independent scene.
But not to say that she just started grinding, because that's not the case, right? She was training and she was doing local shows here. But I mean, relatively, if you look at her, Cora Jade's what do you call it? Her trajectory. She went from like training to a match to signed in a really short time, where it takes some people 19. Look at Jay Lethal. I know there's controversy right now with him, but like he's finally, quote unquote, finally on major TV. You know, Impact he was on, or TNA he was on, Ring of Honor. But I mean, they didn't have the major TV, right? He's now major TV with AEW. That's a 19-year journey right there for that guy to be like, you know, so it's crazy. But yeah, WWE, I know a lot of people haven't given it their NXT, the new NXT, its fair shake. But I mean, I know you got your problems with Tony D'Angelo, but like I think they're throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah.
Steiner kid, that kid's gonna be a star.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
they're definitely, I mean, look, when you're developing talent like that, I don't know what the percentage is, but like even if you look at the independent wrestling scene that we have been around, what's the percentage of people that actually, it's a little bit higher now with AEW being around, but what is the percentage of independent wrestlers that actually get signed to contracts to go on to these companies that are featured heavily on television and everything? It's a small percentage. So
hold on, we got some breaking news here. I just happened to be scrolling, seeing if anything pops up, and breaking news from Game Changer Wrestling, GCW. GCW and Orange Crush proudly present the inaugural Indie Wrestling Hall of Fame induction ceremony and gala. Live on Saturday, January 22nd from the Cutting Room in New York City and streaming live. That's really cool. That really makes me want to hit to New York, because I really wanted to go to Hammerstein, but to be at that, I legit got chills.
Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's
wow.
That's super cool. I wonder how they're gonna handle that. Like, are you not eligible once you've made it big? Is it gonna be like super hipster, like, you know, like somebody like Nate Webb, who's been grinding the indies his whole career, you know?
But you gotta look at, I mean, like,
it's cool
when you're talking about independent wrestling, you know, I'm sorry, but CM Punk's name comes to mind.
course.
Bryan Danielson's
Bryan
name.
Danielson.
Like there are guys that are mainstays right now
Right.
that they were on the grind forever.
No
And
doubt.
they didn't get where they were headed eventually until their 30s, but they had already put in a decade's worth of work.
For sure, for sure.
I mean, Bryan Danielson's helped start Ring of Honor, like,
right.
And if that alone right there, that's independence, like, personified.
Jinx, you want me back or I mean what? No. So I mean, we got off topic there, sorry, because I read that, and that's super exciting. I wonder how they're going to handle that. That's really cool. To put a little bow on our GCW talk, or indie talk, where we're talking about, they'll be back January 15th. They're going to be back at the Grand Sports Arena in Hoffman Estates. So
still hesitant to go to one of their shows, but okay.
It's fair. I mean, you can watch from the comforts of your home. I understand sometimes the violence is a little gratuitous.
Yeah, I just and they're, I don't know, like it's gratuitous violence, which I can get into sometimes, but also like the crowd is right there, and there's all those busted light tubes, and yeah, I think I'd rather sit on my couch and watch, but they'll get my money that way.
I feel you. But shifting for a moment from something I wanted to talk about today was the new Spider-Man trailer. Shifting from wrestling to the world of straight entertainment. I mean, I watched it and I was just like mind blown because I've always loved Spidey. Once again, like I've said before, my knowledge of these things don't come from the comic books like yourself. Like I know you've read a lot of comic books. Mine come from the early mid-90s cartoons. So the Amazing Spider-Man, phenomenal. Obviously, all the movies with Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and now Tom Holland, right?
Yeah.
It's just really cool, man. What a hell of a trailer! It seems to have like Sinister Six, maybe. I don't know.
Well, in Spider-Man, to me, like, I did read some Spider-Man when I was a kid. Like, I don't know, probably like 89, 90, 91.
Okay.
Like in that era.
Yeah.
One of my favorite comics that I have in my collection, I don't know if it has much value, but Todd McFarlane, who created Spawn, kind of got his start, or at least got a name for himself, drawing and writing Spider-Man comics.
Nice.
Which if you look at Spawn's design, you can kind of see the influence of the Spider-Man suit on the Spawn character. But I have this comic, and I'm kind of going off on a tangent a little bit, but it was a pure McFarlane Spidey in hell. Like he was running through hell with demons webbed to his arms.
Oh wow. Just
like, So one of my, like I said, that was a total tangent, but it was one of my favorite stories I ever read. But yeah, so Spider-Man is that character just has such a rich background and so many different stories. And then obviously
quintessential Marvel, right? Like it just seems like he's one of the anchors or pillars of Marvel.
100%. And a character co-created by Stan Lee, and Stan Lee just I think the biggest contribution Stan Lee had to comic books was making the characters relatable.
Right.
So like Spider-Man, Peter Parker was a high school kid that, was kind of a nerdy high school kid that all of a sudden got these powers. You can find, like, you can feel you could like put yourself in that story. It's a lot easier than a billionaire, a billionaire orphan that or an orphan from outer space or whatever. You know what I mean? It's that's where Marvel kind of got its niche, and where Stan Lee really got his, like, where I think his strong storytelling comes from that origin. But I didn't really I'm familiar with like the multiverse in Marvel, like I understand it. and DC has one as well.
Of course.
But it wasn't until I watched Into the Spider-Verse that I realized what like the actual impact it could have on the character of Spider-Man.
Right.
So, and I remember watching that animated film and being like, this is something they could never pull off in a live movie.
Right.
Like this is the perfect medium for it, because there's no way they would even attempt. And all of a sudden, here we are with the third Tom Holland Spider-Man movie,
Yep.
and they're diving into the multiverse.
Yeah, they're full. I mean, they've been building up to it pretty nicely with, you know, WandaVision and then Loki.
Yeah.
What If really dove into it. You watched What If? Did we talk about those?
I haven't finished it, but I have watched What If, yes.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't think that's a major spoiler. They definitely dive into the multiverse and all that stuff, you know.
Absolutely. The entire What If, and What If was a comic as well.
Yeah.
That entire idea is telling stories from other universes.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's always been the fun part about comics in general. And like I said, DC did it too. It's because you can have like, there's a term we use it in a nerdy way called canon, which is like, that's like the base story for a character.
Yeah.
But you can break away from canon and be like, oh, well, that's that other universe over there. Like, you know, so, but it's cool. It's like, it allows for additional storytelling and not necessarily always having to, you know, paint by the numbers.
Right.
So yeah, I'm super excited for this movie. I the very first, like, the teaser trailer that was released for this movie, which was, they showed Spider-Man, Peter Parker, talking to Doctor Strange, and asking him to make it so that no one knows who he is.
Right.
And something goes wrong with the spell.
Right.
I have been wondering since that trailer came out if that actually was Doctor Strange, because Doctor Strange has been like, there's that What If episode for him, that animated one that goes pretty darn deep. Like, it's a pretty touching episode when you think about it. I don't know if you watched that one, where, because Doctor Strange basically, like, he ended up, he was a legitimate doctor, but he had a car accident, and it damaged, like, he was a surgeon and he could no longer perform surgery. Gotcha. So they went and did a deep dive on What If with a different scenario. So I don't believe Doctor Strange would do that for Peter. Okay, because he's like all about maintaining the sanctity of. He's supposed to be maintaining the sanctity of the timeline. Right, exactly. Like, that's part of what, like, if you've seen Doctor Strange, right, and then also the Infinity Wars, where they went and they visited and this is where, you know, 10 years of pot smokers up here, and I can't always remember everything, but the character that trained Doctor Strange, she was in control of the trying to make sure that the timeline stayed the timeline, you know. Sure. So I still want to know, like, was that actually Doctor Strange? Interesting. Yeah, because I don't think that that's something he would do. You realize how much of an impact that kind of change would have to a timeline. Of course. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. What really piqued my interest and popped me hard, like super popped me, was that, like, second to last scene where you see MJ falling, and it's you know, the classic slow motion fall. And it's a throwback to the Andrew Garfield where we saw Gwen Stacy die. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'm getting chills talking about this, because if they don't have
the much rumored, with Toby and Andrew in the movie, if they
Right.
don't have the redemption of Andrew Garfield Spider-Man saving MJ, that's got to be the redemption.
Oh, you got me. You
I
popped
got
me.
you.
I didn't even consider that.
Dude, that's the redemption. It has to be.
But it's interesting too,
Sorry, I'm
because
yelling if it's got really loud in the audios.
I'm sorry. But I mean, it's really interesting. I'm going in with there's already all these ideas that I have,
for sure.
and I just want to know what they decided to do.
Oh, I think that, I mean, that's the fun of it, right? Like we're all like we think about like the beginning of the Disney Plus Marvel universe, right? When WandaVision came out, everything, hey, is that fly? Is that Mephisto? That flower, is that Mephisto? We have yet to see freaking Mephisto, and we're like 4 series away.
And bro, it was Agatha all along.
It was Agatha all along. Yeah, I was texting immediately with Dan when the trailer. We were texting at like 7:00. We're like, where the hell's the trailer? Where the hell's the trailer? It's like, oh, dude, I'm refreshing. I had a notification on like 3 different Twitter accounts and their YouTube channel. And as soon as it went live, I was like, click. So, but yeah, he's he was saying officially confirmed Lizard, Sandman, obviously.
Electro.
Dan said he liked how the comic book looking star over Electro's face. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yes.
Let's see. It says, so we have 5 out of the Sinister 6.
There's Green Goblin,
right?
Electro.
Yep.
Sandman, Doc Ock.
And Lizard was in there also.
And I didn't see the Lizard. I had heard, but I guess like that maybe, I don't know. Sometimes I need to rewatch a trailer, and I only watched it twice. I didn't see the Lizard, but I kind of feel like Venom is the 6th member of the Sinister Six.
Dude, okay, so I didn't watch the last Venom. I forgot totally about the second Venom.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
Well, okay, so Dan says, I still think Mysterio faked his death. He then says Venom would be cool, but he's not a villain in this movies. There's always Vulture, but he wasn't necessarily on bad enough terms with Peter at the end. I thought maybe, what if it's James Franco's Goblin that comes in? He goes, a back from the dead Mysterio would go along with Strange. Did say something to the effect of they all died fighting Spider-Man. And then he says,
one of the things that I thought about too was that I'm not convinced that the character that we thought was Mysterio was actually Mysterio.
Okay. You see, I don't know enough to not believe that. So that's great.
And I'm just like, believe me, we're not as far away in our levels as you think we are.
Okay, that's fair.
Like I am nowhere near Dan's knowledge of comics.
I don't think many people are.
No, they're not. But something that came to mind to me was there was a character portrayed by, his name escapes me, but he played Ralphie in A Christmas Story.
Oh shit, yeah, I don't know his real name.
Yeah, but he was one of the software engineers that was working with Mysterio.
Oh yeah.
And he, if I'm not mistaken, he got away with
sorry.
Yes. He got away with a flash drive.
He did.
And so it made me wonder if maybe he's the true Mysterio.
Ooh. You're right. That's what I love about these. I love how we just build it up in our heads.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Have you watched Shang-Chi yet? Or
yes,
Shang-Chi?
I just saw it on Sunday. Mwah.
Me too. Same. I watched it on Sunday as well.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, chef's kiss.
Yes, sir.
Awesome movie. They finally pulled off, Marvel Studios, an awesome martial arts film.
Yeah. I thought that was great. I love the scenery. I love apologize, you could probably correct it, the food dogs? Is that what they're called?
Yes.
Dude, that thing, like, I want one.
And
I want a Maurice.
that dragon
Beautiful.
was majestic.
Yeah, man.
In terms of like traditional Chinese dragon, like the style.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And just like the coloring and everything, it was beautiful.
No, it was, for lack of a better term, aesthetically pleasing. Everything just back my 2 weeks I spent in college, I learned the term mise en scene, which means that everything is placed there for a reason. And the mise en scene of of Shang-Chi, oh, beautiful. It was really beautifully shot, is the best way I can put it.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and I absolutely loved it. But the reason I bring up, and I'm not going to spoil anything because it is a, you know,
Yeah, a little newer still.
It is a newer movie, but there's some reveals in that movie that are just like, oh,
Yeah.
like, oh man.
Like,
So so like I don't doubt that's a thing that can occur in any one of these films.
yeah. I've yet to watch the Eternals, but I'm super
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet. I still haven't seen Black Widow.
Oh, I enjoyed it. It wasn't, by no means am I gonna say, oh man, it was the best movie. It was a good movie to continue the story. Like it's you won't regret watching it.
No, and I plan to. It's just a matter of I just haven't yet. And Intern and I just haven't been back to the theaters yet.
Yeah, I get you.
So, I maybe because Ghostbusters Afterlife comes out this Friday.
Comes out tonight.
Oh, you're right. It comes out tonight.
I'm at the theater right now.
Let's go. I'm really excited to see that. So with the world's sexiest man, Paul Rudd.
Yeah, it's really true. my only regret about this new Ghostbuster movie is that Conan O'Brien doesn't have a talk show anymore, and Paul Rudd couldn't go on there and show his
and play his scene from Mac and Me.
Yes. The longest running joke in entertainment.
That was like I love Dan Escobar for many things. He's fucking hilarious. But when I ran into him at C2E2 in a Mac and Me shirt, and he's like, "Oh, bro, I gotta go. My Paul Rudd photo op is next."
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't even know that. It's great.
I'm just like, holy shit. Like, of only him,
I get you. Yeah, it's Mac and Me shirt. That's so Dan. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Indeed. So yeah, obviously we are popped by the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer.
Can't wait. I cannot wait for Spider-Man. Yeah, it's the trailer. Great. I don't want. I need the Andrew Garfield Spidey redemption. I need him to catch MJ.
Well, now I need it too. Now that you've said it, damn it.
Tell me that's not perfect, man. It's got to be the redemption.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Absolutely. Well, let's switch gears back to a little bit of wrestling.
Yeah, and funny that you would say switching gears because I think we're headed to Full Gear.
Full Gear, damn. You're insane. No,
now I know you were at GCW.
I was. I caught bits and pieces on my phone.
Okay, all right. My overall take on Full Gear, was, first off, it was a very good show.
Okay.
There weren't any bad matches.
Sweet.
Like, I think top to bottom, every match was good. My only negative thing I can say about it is I don't think that any of them were great. There were great moments, but I don't think that there was a great match in the entire show.
Really?
Yeah, and that's just my opinion.
Of course.
Like I think that in terms of the entire show, Darby Allin and MJF, especially how they started off their match, was the match of the night for me.
Oh, okay. I didn't see any of that. I may or may not have caught it on a stream on the way home. I saw all of Punk and Kingston, which I was really into. I mean, I get why Punk goes over, I guess, but like I really would have wished Eddie got the win because I feel like Eddie needs a win. They keep billing him as this tough badass, and he really is.
Well, but I think don't you feel like they're building him to a breaking point though?
I hope so. I mean,
Like I think that nice guy, not nice guy, but face Eddie is Eddie Kingston is like maybe one more disrespect away from turning. You know what I mean?
no, that's fair. I mean, I just think that would have been a huge win for Kingston.
Absolutely. The thing is who, like, I think you have to, and it's a place that I really feel like AEW has painted themselves into a corner in a way where they've got, especially the latest three, when you're talking about CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, and Adam Cole.
Right.
Now I realize that the Super Elite did lose their match on Saturday.
Oh, they did?
Yes.
Okay.
But Adam Cole hasn't had a singles loss yet.
Okay. So that's
Bryan Danielson has not had a singles loss yet.
Right.
And now and CM Punk hasn't either. So to me, they're kind of painting themselves into a corner with that, because the longer it goes, the more impactful those losses have to be.
Well, I found it hard not to interrupt there, because I think we've come to that crossroads now. Because did you watch Dynamite this week?
I did.
Okay, so they're obviously setting up Punk and MJF.
Yeah.
I think the Punk, whoever gets that first victory over Punk, that's the huge one, right? Because that's Punk's first wrestling loss in 7 years.
Yeah.
And I think MJF is kind of the perfect guy to carry that, because
he can cheat to win.
He can cheat to win, and he can just have that feather in his cap the rest of his career. Yep, exactly. Like, I beat CM Punk after 7 years. He's washed and all that stuff. I really enjoyed the Bryan Danielson turn this week. You know, I'm a mark. Yeah, dude. It was just funny because people were talking like, "Oh man, it's gonna be face versus face now." I mean, Bryan embraced that. You can tell he was relishing it. He just had that grin on his face, like.
The thing is like, I don't really ever like as Daniel Bryan in the WWE. Yes, he was what you would call a white meat baby face for a lot of his career.
Yeah.
But it's a subtle shift for him. It's not. It doesn't have to be the all-out eco warrior shift that he did do in WWE.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of like turning up the cockiness only just a degree. Just
be a little more braggadocious. Yeah, I think you just nailed that.
Yeah, and so the subtlety, and I loved it. Like, it was great. And the way it started out too is you kind of felt it coming, like, because he's out there and he's smirking and like and he's genuinely like, oh, congratulations, whatever. And then the shots started coming like right away, but they were like those like backhanded shots that you get from like that family member that you kind of don't like.
For sure. No, that was obviously it's cheap. It's a cheap pop, but the WrestleMania line, he's like, I headlined WrestleMania and I wrestled the next night. It's like the crowd didn't like that one.
No, that was an easy way to get them to turn on him right away.
You know, I'm really interested in this because I've said it before. I don't see the it in Hangman.
Nor do I.
But that's, I mean, in my defense, which is fine. Whoever's listening and may be triggered, all two of you people who may hear this, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm now invested in this next feud with him and Danielson, because I think Danielson brings out the best in people, and I really want to see what business he could do with Hangman.
And I love that I love the fact that he's just like, I'm gonna stomp everybody in the Dark Order's head off. Like, that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Just, I mean, they have like 20 members. That's 1-2 matches a week I get to see, of Bryan on TV.
Listen, and this and the schedule that he's been wrestling,
yeah,
he'll go through them pretty quickly.
Absolutely, man. Like, it's really cool. I'm loving Danielson in AEW because it's exactly what he wanted to do. But me as a fan of his, it's exactly what I want to see him do. And,
Right.
and I think for the locker room, like, let's be real, Evil Uno getting a one-on-one with Bryan Danielson on national TV, that's huge for Evil Uno. Like,
It
I'm sure
is.
he's he's got to be a fan and respects Danielson's work because I mean, how can you not, right?
Right.
So it's just like, and that's that's the good stuff about AEW. They give people these opportunities. Like we got a few weeks ago, which I thought was an excellent match, CM Punk versus Daniel Garcia.
Yeah.
Garcia just, where did he come from? He's had a hell of an indie run this year, but he got a match with CM Punk on TV, and he had a hell of a match where I was like, I hope the kid taps Punk out.
and Kingston's next for him.
Yeah, so it's just like kudos to AEW for bringing different, just being the alternative, just bringing cool stuff there. I love to see what they're doing with Punk and Danielson right now.
Right.
We're super into that. So for you, the match of the night was Darby and MJF.
Absolutely. Like I really encourage you to go back, and if you only watch like maybe the first 10 minutes of the match,
Yeah.
I literally was just like, did they just like rehearse this over and over again? The transitions in and out of holds were so crisp and so smooth.
Nice.
That like it felt, and I don't want it because it could have a negative connotation that it felt rehearsed.
Yeah.
But it didn't. It just was so on point.
Yeah.
Like they were like, you know how sometimes you're watching a match and two wrestlers, just their timing is off.
Yeah.
Like their timing was just perfect.
Okay, nice.
And then like MJF being MJF, he like has to cheat to win.
Of course.
But that's what we expect of him. Right. So that's why I said, like, I think you're right. I think MJF is the right person to put a loss on CM Punk.
Yeah.
Because he cheats to do it.
Right.
And in that way, we're still left like feeling like, well, CM Punk's still undefeated, really,
Right. I got you.
Like if he pins Punk clean, I'm not a fan.
No. That's even bigger feather in his cap. Like
that's an even, and yes, it is, and just like his parents, fuck MJF.
That's fantastic. No, that's awesome, dude. But yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, the crowd went nuts for Hangman, and good for the crowd. I mean, they are way beyond. I'm jealous. I wish I could be in on him like that, but it just, he doesn't do it for me. Which I'm in the minority, which is fine.
I'll join you there. I don't like, I recognize, that's the thing, is like I recognize his talent.
Yeah.
But I haven't connected with the character.
Yeah.
And so
I agree.
Like I'm telling you, like I already said, like I felt like there were no great matches.
Right.
Man, if Adam Page, you picked Adam Page out and you put someone in that I cared about, that would have been a great match.
Fair.
So to be fair, it was really technically a great match. Right. I just wasn't into it.
Okay.
So like, yeah, it was good product.
Very cool. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. But no, I think they followed up pretty well on Wednesday. They announced the Jay Lethal signing. As with everything in life, there's a little controversy on the internet about his signings, but whatever.
Really?
Yeah, he was mentioned in those speaking out stories from about a year or so ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he was mentioning stuff. I really don't even know what it is. All I didn't really go digging for information on, hey, what was he accused of? I mean,
sure.
It's bad enough out there. But yeah, I think AEW followed up pretty well.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Friday, the go home show for WWE going into Survivor Series.
Bro, I wish I could say the same. it has become, for me, it's like a labor to watch WWE.
Become laborious.
It's just, it's rough. It's been rough. And it's hard to get behind a company that is just shooting their talent away. Like I'm still frustrated with the last round of releases.
Right.
They reported, I know I threw out some stupid astronomical number the last time we talked about it.
No, right.
But their last quarter, they reported earnings of $250 million in a quarter.
Right.
Okay. They're a very strong company.
Absolutely.
They're not hurting for money.
No, they're not.
I mean, and I can be devil's advocate and say that, you know, they went through a phase of signing way too much talent, but they're not using the talent they currently have well.
I agree.
It's just, it's I don't know, it's really bothersome. And even Survivor Series used to be a real, like, I know it's considered one of the big four.
Yeah, for sure. Big four, yeah.
But I'm not down with the brand supremacy thing.
No, I'm with you on that.
Because
Night of Champions, you could do that. Like,
well, here's the thing too. It's there was a breakdown. It's online. You can go check it out. I'll give credit where credit is due. It's an excellent show that I like to watch. Wrestle Talk. Okay. They're on YouTube.
Randomness.
Just the Wrestle Talk. They're guys from England. And they did a breakdown of the percentages of talent that are wrestling for one brand. So like, it was like, for instance, the Raw Survivor Series team, which is Seth, Finn, Kevin, God, I can't even remember. And Rey Mysterio and Dominic.
Right. Well, now Mystery. Well, they're both off the team now.
Okay. Oh, that's right, because Ray's hurt. But
Austin Theory's on there. But yes, go ahead.
Okay, Austin Theory and Bobby Lashley.
Yes.
Okay, but the original team had just come over from SmackDown a week before.
Yeah, that's.
And then I think it's 80% of the Raw women's team. The same thing is true. Jesus. Like, it's just, like I said, go check out Wrestle Talk and they have the breakdowns and everything. But it's there. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense when you're pushing this brand loyalty, and who has loyalty to a 1 week? You know what I mean?
Right. No, I totally get it. Yeah, they're feeding you something that doesn't make sense.
Right.
I guess the best way, but they're not connecting the dots, which makes sense.
Yeah,
I get it.
And so here I'm gonna run down the card. Let me just get through it, and then we can talk about it. So you're absolutely right. It is kind of like a Night of Champions.
Yeah. Because
it's Damien Priest versus Shinsuke Nakamura. That's the mid-card champion versus the mid-card champion.
Right.
RK Bro versus the Usos. Those are the tag champs versus the tag champs. Yeah. Then you got Big E versus Roman Reigns. That's the two big titles. Becky Lynch versus Charlotte. That's the two women's titles. And then we have a women's traditional Survivor Series elimination match and a men's traditional Survivor Series elimination match.
Weird, man.
And so when you look at it from that standpoint, that's a Night of Champions.
Yeah.
That is, except for the two Survivor Series matches. And I don't know if you remember, but when I was a kid, which was a lot earlier than when you were a kid, but like the Survivor Series teams, and it wasn't even in the Attitude Era.
They were great.
It was like two guys or four guys that had beef with each other, and then they would go around in the locker room and build a team. Yep. They would have to go and fight, like, hey, do you want to fight on my side? Yeah, I'll fight with you. And there was story behind it. It wasn't you're sitting at home on a Sunday afternoon and Twitter blows up with all of the Survivor Series teams, the announcement.
Right. No, I get it, dude. But I think it's been well over 10 years 10-15 years since they've done it that way. But I agree, because in my mind, that's how it still is, you know? It's Team Hogan versus Team whoever, or the $1 Million Team, or the Heenan family versus, So
even like DX versus the Spirit Squad, whatever.
I mean,
Like,
I think they could have done great. They could have just literally done the New Day versus the Bloodline. That would have been phenomenal.
which we have it basically, because you got Big E versus Roman. Well, actually, I'm sorry, you got RK Bro versus the Usos. You're right. It would have been much better if they would have done that.
Yeah, but can't have that. Sorry,
can't have things make sense.
Yeah, can't have things make sense. I'm looking right now on Twitter, little a Funko Pop, and I have to try to get this. I think it's releasing tomorrow. A Ned Flanders Pop, but in his skiing outfit, and he's turned to the side.
Nothing at all. Nothing at all.
Yeah, I need that. I need that pop. I've been on a big Simpsons kick lately. Of Funko Festival of Fun, Emerald City Comic Con reveals the Simpsons stupid sexy Flanders. Dude, it's so good.
Aren't they based out of? Isn't their like their big shop? Isn't that in Seattle?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure the Emerald City Comic Con is in Seattle.
Yeah. I was just gonna say been on a Simpsons kick lately, and I just realized that the Michael Jackson episode is not on Disney Plus. Yeah, they don't have it on. They don't have it on there. It's so the story behind that is that I guess at the time Michael Jackson's people wouldn't let him do the show, so that's why it was it's Michael Jackson, but it was really him, but they said it wasn't.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson, we all know, was a little weird. Whether or not you embrace the dark side of the story, right, whatever. Undeniable, an icon of our generation.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, all-timer.
But he had a strange sense of humor.
Yes.
So Michael Jackson actually did record everything for that show.
Yeah. Except
for the singing.
I heard, yeah.
The singing was done by an impersonator.
Oh. Yes, and I think I saw that because I think the impersonator said that he had to do the singing in front of Michael Jackson. And
yes.
Holy shit! Like, how do you do Michael in front of Michael? Yeah, good call.
And nobody knew except for him. But that was the funniest shit to him.
Yeah. No, that's you're not wrong. I've heard some. I mean, that could be the whole different episode of the stories I've heard about Michael Jackson's quote unquote humor. Who recently said, I think it's like Chris Rock or something like that, said yeah, Michael Jackson's still alive, because he always said that it's one day he's gonna fake his own death and he's gonna live out as I guess Michael had characters he did. I guess there's this one guy named Ed that he introduced himself as to somebody else in front of Chris. I'm assuming, I think it's Chris Rock. So for this story, I'm gonna say it was Chris Rock. Mm-hmm. And he's like, Michael, what the hell are you doing? He's like, oh, that's just something I like to do. And so he told Chris Rock, he's like, one day I'm going to fake my own death and I'm just going to live my life as Ed. But then they go in the clip I saw, and then Chris Rock is like, you see that motherfucker right there? He goes, that's Michael Jackson, because they had video of Michael Jackson in this character as Ed. But then just a few years ago, post his death, you see a person that looks just like this Ed character. And it was it's some function. Yeah. So Chris Rock's like, that's Michael Jackson.
We need to have a conspiracy episode.
Oh, dude, let's go.
Because in our last fantasy draft, I think it was in the post episode fist fight.
Yeah.
With Pac and DJ Neurotic, they mentioned a couple of conspiracy theories. One about Avril Lavigne and one about Lady Gaga.
Yeah, you're
I don't know if you've gone down the rabbit hole, but I went down the rabbit hole of the Avril Lavigne one, and I only took a peek at the Lady Gaga one, and it's
nice.
I don't believe them, but there are wild theories.
It's fun, right? I love conspiracy theories. They're super fun, man. Fun.
Yep.
But yeah, we got Survivor Series this weekend. Take us home, Noli, nerd. Bring us home. We'll be. Well, I guess we can talk about this after the camera's off. But yeah, We'll be back. Nerd.
We will
take
be
us
back
home.
next week. So this has been a hot hour with with OG Hank 312
That's me.
and me, Incidental Nerd.
That's him.
Together, we are For the Pop, and we're gonna keep doing it for the pop.
Yes, sir.
And thanks for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed what you're listening to or watching. And if you do, click subscribe or follow us, or you can find us on our any of our socials, or you can find me on TikTok.
Yep.
Give us a follow, give us a like, send us some comments. We want to interact with the community.
Drop a comment, please. All right.
Toodles.
Toodles.